our Facebook Live show. I would like to thank everybody for watching us throughout the weeks. I have some pointers here that I would like to let you know about. There's going to be no auction at this time. I know we talked about it at the last show, but just a reminder, just at this time, we're postponing it. We're working on a new format for the auction. We also have this breeding program. What you do is,
You want to do it?
no, I
No.
thought I had it up wrong. Anyway, it's free, and what you do is you go onto our website and you go under the breeding and racing programs, and then you just download it. Is that right? Or you put it in your cart and then download it.
Can I interrupt?
You always do.
This is something people have asked about for a long time. And there's a racing program, all different kinds of ones. But in this part, or in the United States, we're either in or very close to breeding season. So what this does, it tells you what to do every day for 7 straight days. What to put in the water, what to put in the feed, on the feed, all the different vitamins and things like that, what medication to use. So everybody says, I get so many calls, people want to know, can I get on some sort of a program? Well, this is the program, and it's free.
And we also have other programs, just not this one, that you can download, and that would be on that same site. I'd also like to say hi to Charlene. Hi, Charlene.
Hi, Charlene, my sister.
And I'd like to say hello to Morgan. We have a fellow that that works with us. His name's Eric, and that's his daughter, and she is all into pigeons. So we'd like to say hello. And I'd also like to say hi, Morgan and Madison. Those are my grandbabies. The other thing we had brought up before, if you notice, somebody's wearing a hat.
Well, this time I'm wearing it because I need a haircut. Vicky gave me hell. She said, you need a haircut. I said, I know, but I couldn't get an appointment. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's okay. And we like, I don't know if anybody's watching this show that has ever gone to the Lancaster show. There's a fellow there. His name's Barry. And I can't wait to get to that show because every year he wears the most funniest hats there is. It's just hilarious that, you just can't wait to see which hat he's going to have on next. And we would like, if anybody has any silly hats that they like to send in, feel free to send them in. I'm sure Jerry wouldn't mind wearing them at all.
And we'll acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And if you really want it back, I'll send it back.
Yes. Okay.
Did you just call my hat silly?
Well, maybe. Some of them are a little silly, but hey. And now I would like to introduce Jim Hughes. He is going to be talking about this Orego-Stim. And he'll fill you in on all about the product.
Okay. What we're going, if you've ordered from us recently, we have this flyer, and it goes in every order that we send out. So you'll be getting some information via an order. But Jim is going to tell us. I sort of emailed him. There's a salesman. In order to be a good salesman, has to talk about the FAB method, F-A-B. Do you know what the FAB method is?
I do not.
Well, it's pretty basic. If you want to sell a product, you got to talk about the features. What are the features of the product? One of the features of this product is that it measures as you pour it into the drink water, it measures itself. So that's a feature. One of the advantages certainly is that you're going to end up, and I'm sure Jim is going to be talking about, the advantages is how easy it is to use. The benefits, of course, what, if you don't have benefits, why would you buy it? So the most important thing is, what does Orego-Stim do for my pigeons? And I hope Jim is going to explain all of that, and I hope I haven't put too much pressure on him. Is he ready to go? All right, it's all yours, Jim.
Good morning, guys. Jerry and Kerry. Well, it's a good morning for me. It's just ticked 7 o'clock Saturday morning in Australia, so 16 hours in front of the US. So I hope you're having a nice Friday afternoon. Thank you very much for having me on your show. Excited to be here and to talk Orego-Stim. Obviously, Orego-Stim is it's a multifaceted gut health product. I guess that's the take home for the listeners. It is an overall gut health product. It's not a drug. It's not a pharmaceutical. It's a natural additive that is used for overall gut. Can you guys hear me okay? Excellent. Bit of background on me, commercial director for Australasia. I look after Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, and the Pacific Islands. So not a bad place to be. Funnily enough, we have a lot of pigeon experience in this part of the world. We've got a very loyal band of fanciers, breeders, and racers in Australia in particular. They see Orego-Stim as a must-have product. It is something that goes in their water. Jerry's got the pigeon liquid there on the desk. That's the one I'll be talking about. I think it's important to know when you're talking a gut health product where the product originated from, how it's dosed, which then gives you the features and benefits that Jerry alluded to earlier. So some of the features of the Orego-Stim, when you compare it to the number of competing products that are on the market, is that it's natural. The oregano oil, as you may notice from the name, you're looking at a natural, completely organically grown cultivar of oregano in Central Europe. So grown under organic principles. It is so. You're looking at what you're looking at there in natural oil is your phenols. You're looking at carvacrol and thymol as your main phenols, but the natural oil has 80 other phenols that are synergistic within the product, which you won't see in a synthetic. Another thing we go by is our consistency. Our production line tests every single batch of herb, every batch in the distillery, and every batch of finished product to make sure that those phenol levels are consistent. This is really important. You want to make sure that every time you dose your birds that they're getting what they need. And the quality. Jerry was talking about the bottle there before. We do offer Orego-Stim in powder form as well, but all packaging is of the highest quality to make sure customers get what they want and what they expect every time. So as I said, take-home message being the overall gut health. This works on so many levels. 10 minutes is my slot for this show. You know, it's not nearly enough time to go through all the benefits of this product, but just to give you some of the top line ones. And this works across all species. We deal in poultry, swine, all avian species. In Australia, we're looking at pheasants, budgerigars, peacocks, you name it. We do it over here. But with pigeons in general, specifically, as with all birds, you're getting an antioxidant effect. Oregano naturally has antioxidant properties within it, and also antibacterial. So what we're doing here is actually supporting the gut microflora to enable the bird to build its own immunity level. So a strong gut equals strong immune system, which then equals healthy bird and strong resistance against pressures of disease. Also, you get the benefit of feed conversion ratio being improved. So,
Jim, may I interrupt for a second? Yeah, okay. I can't see you, so I apologize for that. I know the folks can see that are watching. I just have a couple of maybe some questions that the viewers may also have. Um, I'm assuming it's for all breeds of pigeons because racing homers dominate the hobby, but is it also good for fancy pigeons, fantails and runts and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely, Jerry. Interestingly enough, we've got a bit of a market here for meat pigeons, pigeons that are raised to be eaten. Works the same in all avian species. So you're looking at the beneficial aspects of that antibacterial and the antioxidant work in all birds. I suppose the immune system in all animals is put under pressure when the bird is under stress. So we see some really good results in racing pigeons in particular because it's a stressful life for them. They're being mixed with other birds in baskets and transported, and obviously long races are hard on the animal too. So the guys here see better post-race recovery. They see an advantage during molting, which is a stressful time for birds. I think the key is to get it in early though. We suggest putting it in from chick stage, so even day old, and then having it in the water consistently throughout. I mean, prevention is always better than cure.
Used on the feed as well as in the drinking water?
We don't do both. No, I mean, I guess there's two ways of doing it. We do have guys who put it in their feed, which is great. I mean, that's fine. I suppose it's the nature of pigeon feed is that it's loose grain, so it's going to separate. The beauty of having it in the water is that you can put it in pre-race, post-race, and it's there at all times. You can cart that bottle around with you in your vehicle or wherever you're going.
Or during particular breeding season, molting season, show season, or is it something you would use year round? And are you able to mix it with either antibiotics or are you able to mix it with vitamins?
Yeah, so first part of that question, all year round, yes, we suggest you do it all year round because it's not a drug. You're not actually looking to treat a certain condition. We've observed here that our pigeon guys don't actually treat for cocci anymore. They've got this in the water, so cocci treatment isn't required. They've seen a massive reduction in incidence of canker. Obviously, those stressful times is when it's absolutely critical, but for the most part, it's put in there anyway. The immune system, you never know when something's going to come up. So having it in there, you've always got a robust animal, less likely to get sick. With regards to mixing with other things, it works in conjunction with vaccines. Antibiotics. What antibiotics do is knock out all the bacteria. They knock out the bad bacteria, but also the good bacteria. So then you're looking at probiotics and things to try and get bacteria back in the gut. What oregano oil within the Orego-Stim does is actually it's beneficial to the good bacteria while reducing the bad bacteria. So I guess, in the loft, seeing that in the loft though, I mean, that all sounds great, but you can't see what's happening inside the bird. The visual observations you'd likely make in the loft is that you have less loose droppings. So firmer, dry droppings is a observation you'll get very quickly. And also your plumage, really beautiful, shiny feathers. So that's the most common feedback we get from the pigeon guys.
I wanted to mention to the folks, we're about to 10 or close to over, Jim, but this is the product. We do have it in stock. It's the directions themselves are just a half an ounce per gallon of drinking water. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a liter, which is in America, that's 906, 996, whatever. It's a lot. So if you're using a half an ounce, it's going to last you a long time. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I was just turning around.
And the pre-measures. Is there anything else you would like to add? But if you folks want to order it, you can call Foy's. We have it in stock, and we'll go out. It'll go out either today or Monday, so keep that in mind. It is on our website also. Jim, is there anything
Sure.
else you would like to add?
I guess just to add to your point there, Jerry, it's extremely cost-effective additive to put in. Hence, in the water all the time, you're looking at cents per bird for a huge benefit.
Do thank you for giving us your time.
Thanks very much for having me.
If you have any questions, you can call me at my home if you want. It's a brand new product. I've done some reading up on oregano, adding it to the water and so forth. So I think it'll be a super product for us in the future. All right, are we back to the normal show? You want to pick up from
Yes.
there?
I
Okay.
did on my part. It's your turn.
It's my turn?
It's your turn.
What if I don't have any notes?
Well,
Okay.
Well-
All right. Okay, as far as the show goes, we've already done this, okay. I wanted to share a couple of things. This doesn't mean anything to you, but what I can tell you is this is a diagnostic report for 2 pigeons. I had a customer call me, Ms. Teedale, and we talked a number of times, and her husband has close to 400 pigeons, and the pigeons themselves were getting sick, and the symptoms were all over the place. Give you an example. This is from a veterinarian in South Carolina, and it said the history, the birds, the symptoms, the birds were ruffled up, the feathers were all rough. They were drying up, which means they were losing a lot of weight. You picked them up and there was hardly any weight to them. Watery droppings, it wouldn't fly. Droppings were just a mess. And when I got the report, Ms. Teedale sent it to me so that I might be able to interpret it for her. It's like you getting a report from your doctor. Maybe you don't understand half of what they're talking about. Well, in this particular report, I can understand about 70% of it. But the main thing is, and it goes page after page after page as a report. But these birds were sick, they were dying, they had, the report said, and this is important, they had salmonella. Salmonella is the same as what we call paratyphoid. They had E. coli, Enterococcus, and Staphylococcus, that's a long word, and crop mold, of all things, mold. So one of the things I wanted to tell you is that if you ever take your birds to a doctor or to a veterinarian, they have to give you a written report or they will. If you would like to send it to me, I would be glad to try to interpretate for you and figure out what to do. But the important line in this, because these birds had mold, they had all these different diseases, it says the primary issue is the bacterial infection from salmonella paratyphoid. So what they're saying is even the mold, all of the other issues, what appear to be coccidiosis, what appear to be respiratory, all were caused by paratyphoid. And the gentleman had 400 pigeons. So I was figuring it out myself. And if they were to treat the birds and then vaccinate the birds, just the vaccinations, and you have to do it twice, would be $500. And you'd have to do this on a semi-regular basis. So my advice to Ms. Teasdale was, why don't you treat them for paratyphoid? That product is Furaltadone. Do I ever pronounce that right? Is it Furaltadone?
I don't know. Everybody pronounces it different.
You don't really care, do you? As long as they
As
say
long
it's for
as-
paratyphoid.
That's correct,
Okay.
yes.
But I told him, why don't you treat with the Furaltadone? It'll treat it, it'll go away. and then maybe put them on a regular basis. Here again, with 400 pigeons, it's not inexpensive, but what I would suggest to do is put them on the throughout the dome program every 3 months, every 4 months. That might keep the problems down. Okay.
Okay, well, we have a question. This is from John. Oh, he's telling us the bottle should treat approximately 67 gallons of treated drinking water.
Well, thank you, John. 67 gallons. We'll put that in the write-up on our website. I appreciate it. So 67 gallons.
I'm writing it down so we know. Okay, and this question's from Josh. What do you think the cause of young birds having wet droppings in the nest?
Might be nothing, Josh. Baby pigeons' droppings are not as formed as tight as the adult birds. So there's always more moisture in the nest than a normal adult pigeon would create. So number one, I'm not sure you have to worry about it. You just keep an eye on the birds. If it's a lot of moisture in that it's wet all around the nest and in the nest bowl, you want to clean it out as soon as you can. I would put the birds on amoxicillin, put it in the drinking water, so that the parents will give it to the young. I'm sorry, what?
It won't hurt the babies?
That's what I was going to ask. It's a good question because if you ask, they're asking. No, the reason I suggest amoxicillin, and you've heard me talk about it before, I'm sure. It's what's called I'm trying to think of the word. It treats a lot of different broad spectrum. You're supposed to jump in and say broad spectrum.
I'm like trying to think.
It's called broad spectrum. It just means it treats a lot of different diseases, and it is a very mild antibiotic. Would not affect the pigeons, but you can't do it for 1 day, nor should you do it for 45 days. 1 day is a waste of time. So my recommendations would be a minimum of 7 days if you want to do 10. The parents drink the water, they feed the birds, and the young babies are getting it through that process. Thanks, Josh. Okay, another question? No? Okay, if you have a question, please feel free to give us a call. I was going to mention just a couple of things. This morning I was looking out the window and we have snow on the ground, and I saw an envelope, just a regular envelope laying in the grass on top of the snow. So I went out and picked up, it was there, it was to me. I must have dropped it when I brought it in the mail yesterday, but it was soaking wet. I couldn't even open it because it was so wet. And finally we dried it all out and I opened it up, and there was a check for $350 in there as a contribution to the Legacy Fund Trust.
Oh,
but the check was useless because it was all. But thank God there was a phone number on it, and I could read the phone number, and I called the gentleman. His name's Mike Miles, and Mike is sending us a replacement check for it. So funny things do happen, and usually they happen to me. Also wanted to mention, pardon?
No.
No. Yesterday, when it comes to things that move, and computers and cars, whatever it is, I called my wife. I'm in a basement in my office, and I have a television. Of course, my computer is down there. And I said, "Hey, Vic," I said, "would you come down and look?" I says, "My computer's not working. The TV is not working. the phones weren't working. All three of them were broke at the same time. But it turns out, I guess we lost the internet and it shut everything down. I couldn't figure that one out. Once again, if you have a question, and if you're watching the show, you know how to send the question in. Last show we did was we had so many questions we couldn't get to the products we wanted to talk about.
That's
so why don't we talk about products while we're waiting for folks to send the question?
That sounds good to me. And it is going to be on drinkers. Do we have Coop cups too, or just drinkers?
Better, I guess, cage cups and cage feeders and cage drinkers. Would that be okay? We'll call it that?
Well, yeah, you can, but we don't have the big ones that like go in the loft or
Well, the method to my madness.
I guess so.
Okay.
Okay, well, I have this item right here. And this is wonderful to put in if you have like an 8-compartment breeder unit or any type of cage,
Yes, Paul?
nest boxes. This is a water, and watch, I probably won't get it
You'll
apart.
get it, Paul. There you go. So now this, you were right. See, right there you go. There you go.
I thought it was at the
No.
bottom. You just fill it up upside down, and then you put the lid back on, and you turn it over. This is nice. You can put it like back in the corner, out of the way, and it fits really nice. Jerry recommends this. He uses them all the time.
And they don't make a mess. Birds just can't splash around in the
Right,
water.
right. And then we also have.
If you wanted to know, in the
Oh, you
catalog,
even have it on.
if you go to our catalog, can't find it, it's number 3415. Okay.
And we also have a larger one.
Yep.
Okay, this here, you can use this as a drinker or a feeder. Can't you?
Mhm.
Okay, and this is also another nice product that you can use in your cages. Put it back in the corner. They don't mess a lot. They can't waste the feed. This one here, and you just take the lid right off and fill it. This item number is 1461.
I do
And I
use it
can't-
in
yeah.
I use two eight
Eight-bird breeder units.
section
Yeah.
breeder units, and I have one of these. So what I do in mine, when you buy an eight 4-level breeder unit with 2 on each side, what I do is I use this for water. The breeder unit comes with some white cups that look something like this, but I don't like those because they make a mess, especially if you put your feed in there. You get feed all over the place. I use this for the water, and in the other corner, this is what I use. I really like it, so easy to, so I use this for feed.
You know what you could use those little white ones in there for is for grit. You
Yep.
could put grit in
Yeah,
this.
but I don't like the way they waste the feed.
Product.
So those are two. You want to take a question from Marco?
Okay. Is the product you're advertising good for chickens?
It can be used, but it would be better for the bantams than a full size, because with the full size chicken, they're gonna knock it around if it doesn't have a lot of
Are we gonna
weight to it.
talk this?
Pardon?
What is the product you're advertising?
Good for chickens. No, I think,
Well,
that.
I don't know. Are you talking about the Orego-Stim or are you talking about the drinkers?
If it's about this, Marco, this is, yes, it absolutely is fine for chickens. In fact, humans take oregano on a regular basis too, not this brand, but they do take it. So yes, the answer is yes. Okay. There's a question I wish I could give a positive answer to. Go ahead.
Terry says, are they American made?
No. I wish I could tell you they were. The most of them are made in Europe. I don't think any of the ones we're going to show you are made in China.
Yeah,
Most of
that
them
one
are made
is.
in the green ones. No,
The
this
one,
one.
that one, yeah, that one.
Terry, we do everything we can to buy American. It's just impossible. The problem is the pigeon hobby is too small for most manufacturers to create the molds that need to be made, and just the market's not big enough. We have a product, had a product called
I
Nutri-Drops.
was just gonna say that.
And Nutri-Drops was a great seller. It was a great product, and it was made in America. In fact, I called them this morning. We get so many requests for that product, and I knew the answer, but I wanted the answer from them. I said, let me ask you this. Is it because of the market or it's too small? She says, absolutely. She says, we just don't sell enough to make it for pigeons. So it's similar in all of these products. I wish I could buy American made. We do have metal drinkers that are made in America. We have wooden feeders that are made in America, but most of the plastic goods come from overseas. Okay. Where were we?
It's your turn to show
Oh, it's my
some of
turn.
your-
This is another little unit. It's a small drinker that goes in a nest box. Or
mini
can go-
drinker.
Mini drinker. Or you're interrupting me all the time.
Well, you were interrupting me earlier, so I had to get back at you.
No, well,
There's three
what goes
sizes.
around comes around, huh?
And there's 3 sizes.
I'm good. But anyway, I was going to say it's a drinker, but let me show you what you can do. You fill it up and put this on and flip it over. But if you want to make it a feeder, see this little, there's a ring. I hope you can see it ring. You take a knife, a razor blade, a saw, and you cut it off right there. And then you put it on as the bird as the birds eat, the feed will come down. So that's an idea too. It's a simple little unit, and it's number 1651. We have it in 3 sizes.
This is a 24 ounce. We carry a 32 ounce and a 64 ounce.
64 ounce, that's 2 quarts. That's a pretty big one.
Mhm.
Okay. If you have a question, like of any of the products, just give us a
We
call.
did that.
Pardon?
You were grabbing the one we just did. Okay.
You know, I can do the show alone. No, I
Okay.
can't. No, I can't.
Okay.
You'll volunteer.
Uh-huh.
This is a really a nice product. What this is a drinker. And as Sherry was showing me, we were talking about this before the show. What you do is this comes off for you to fill it up. This will hook this way. And if you can imagine, the wire is coming down here, and you're outside. You hook this into the wire, you fill it up, put it this way, hook it with these little hooks, and it sticks through the wire. So that's how the birds will drink from it. Or you can actually put it inside and turn this around, or hook it inside, they'll drink here. Okay, and we have as Sherry knows this product better than me. There's little grooves here. What you do is you push it in this way and twist it, and it holds it in place, and then you put this on it so that it can't move around. Okay. Do I have more I want to talk about?
Yeah, you have that one right
Where
there.
are all of the
Well, I
questions?
know. I was just going to say, we love to hear from you. So please, if you have any questions,
On
please.
product? No.
On what?
On products?
products,
medications,
yes.
On anything. Now, this is these are made where? Spain.
Guam.
Spain.
Okay.
Made in Spain. This is a feeder. It goes inside your nest box or inside your cage, or you could actually put it on the floor of your loft. But as you can see, it has 3 sections, and it actually you can put water in it. So you have one section with water, one section with feed, one section with grit, and they're sealed off inside. So makes for a handy unit. I like to use it for grit. I put in grit in all 3 of them, but you can use
That
it
also comes in 2 sizes. This comes in 3-hole and a 2-hole.
Didn't come in 1 hole.
No, that one does.
What the hole?
I don't know what the hole is.
I was going to say what the hell.
I know what you were going to say.
All right. All right.
No, you did that one. It's this one.
Okay, and then this is a similar unit. It hooks on the inside, and then outside. This is the inside. It hooks onto your wire, and it's a feeder. And these little holes allow for the dust, if there's dust in the feed or something, to fall through. This comes in 3 sizes?
3 sizes: a single, a double, and a triple hole.
Single, double, and
Triple.
triple. Okay. If I've done them all, no, I haven't.
Okay.
Here.
Oh, that's the single.
So you can see, same unit. Just if you want to just feed them grit or something, hooks on. You're outside. I like it because you can look, see through, and how much feed is in it. in
Well,
case
you
it's
don't
a
even
little-
have to
Go ahead. No, see through.
Yeah, actually, if you hook it onto the outside of the cage,
Mm-hmm.
and they can put their head in, you can feed, or you can fill it. You don't have to stick your hand through the birds and the cages and everything.
Well, yeah, just full of information. All right, so there's 2. Wanted to show you this. Go ahead. You want to talk about that one? You want me to- I got some more ones.
This is another cup that we have that can hook onto the cages. And it has the little slots where you can like put it in like through the side. This comes in an 8-ounce, a 16-ounce, 32-ounce, and a 64-ounce.
It comes in a
Um,
lot of
yeah.
different sizes.
We do so. They're very heavy duty. We sell a lot of them. And this item is number 465, but there is actually, like I said, 4 different sizes.
This one, once again, this is a
K-cup.
Cage cup.
It's called a K cup.
K cup. What's the item number?
I have that. I don't know. 496.
Okay. Once again, it's made to fit inside on the cage wire itself. But one thing I wanted to mention, because I was looking this, and this one we already talked about. These are the kind of things you might want to consider taking to a show, especially these. These are made for the show cages. Go this way, you twist it, and locks in place inside. The birds are eating and drinking. So you would put your feed or your water or both if you had 2 of these. Because I've been to so many shows that use the little tiny drinking cups, little paper coated cups, and always laying around on them. You're going to sneeze?
I was going to, but
Okay.
it passed.
So this is good in that it will stay in place at any height you want, because the paper ones, no matter what, they end up messing all over the cage when the birds are walking in mud. So this one will all be good. You could take those to a show. And another thing that you can do, here's a third one. These bend over, so you can attach them inside, outside, depending on the size of the hole. If it's on the inside, they eat here. If it's on the outside, you flip these over as long as there's enough area for them to stick their head through the cage. So,
I have I have a lot of questions. People ask me if they have a basket and they want to put like feed and water in the basket for their birds. I suggest, I don't know, do you have any other ones in there with wire?
nope, not, oh yes, I do.
Oh, there. Okay. We sell several different types of cups that have either like a thin, like these tabs or wire. I suggest getting these for your basket because they're easy. Usually a basket, some of the baskets have like a little wood or metal rod that goes in there, and these are great to like just bend right down over. And we do sell several different ones that have the metal that will bend right over, that will fit in your basket.
Wanted to mention a call I got this morning. In fact, if you have a pencil, I gave you my home phone number. People call me all the time. I answer the phone from 9 to 5, just so you know. I generally don't answer on weekends. But if you want to call me, please do. The call I got this morning, see if you be able to answer this one. He said, Jerry, I've had birds for years and years and years, and I've never seen or never had this particular problem. Have you any idea what caused it and what I can do? And I said, well, tell me the symptoms. He said, well, it's pretty simple. He says, I've got 1 or 2 birds that in one eye, it's gone opaque. It's a grayish color, and the bird's completely blind in that eye. I have no idea. He says, have you ever heard of that before?
Well, I sure did.
You sure did. Go
Yes,
ahead.
I did. I had, sad to say, but this gentleman has passed away now. But funny, well, it wasn't a funny story, but this guy came in and he come in and he said, I bought this product and you sold this product to us, and Jerry suggested it, and it made my bird go blind. Wow. You know, this is my El Papa here, and nobody talks like that to my El Papa. So it kind of upset me because I knew Jerry would never do that. And here, come to find out, I hope this is right, it's a worm.
Mm-hmm.
It was a worm. It wasn't anything that we sold And it wasn't anything Jerry did, but I was just so upset that he just thought it, that he, but it's a worm.
And it's a worm that lives in the eyeball or on the outside of the eyeball. And it's not uncommon. Well, I shouldn't say it's common, but it's not normal. But I hear it 3 or 4 times a year. What you want to do is use a regular wormer if you ever have this particular problem, and it's always in one eye, and the eye goes white colored, creamy colored. Best I can explain is on the bird. If you hold the bird, if you have somebody hold the bird for you, you put your finger right here across the eyeball, and you gently push across the eyeball. Push, push, push towards your nose. And when you do that, before you get to the nose, with the pressure, the worm will pop right out. And you know you have that problem. So there is a worm, as Sherry said, I'm proud of you, that will cause blindness in one eye. It is treatable. There's a number of wormers that can be used. The one I recommended to him was Ecto-Endo, because it's a little bottle about that big with drops. So you just squeeze the bottle. In fact, the bottle looks, did I forget? Something like this. I would carry this at 3 or right after the show. I have to be reminded to take my eye drops. But it's an eye drop. It's a 2 drops right into the eyeball, and it'll kill the worm. Okay, but so is that something somebody wants to ask? Mention something to you before we go to that. As all of you know, I do sell pigeons, and I've sold them for years and years. I sell white pigeons, young one, 2021 now. I sell breeding pigeons, and I still have some 2020 birds that have never been out. When it comes to the white pigeons, they're for people who do weddings and funerals. When it comes to racing homers, if you like pretty colors, they're good racing pigeons, but they're bred for their color. I have those. They can be black, red, they can be yellows, they can be different colors. I have race quality birds, which means they come from breeders who are the top flyers in the combine. In fact, I got a call from one today. So if you're looking for pigeons, I have them. What I wanted to bring up, though, and I know you don't know this, I had to raise my prices, and I've been selling those pigeons the same price for over 10 years, but I finally had to raise the prices because cost of everything has gone up, and after 10 years, I had to raise the cost. So if you decide you might want to order pigeons from me, not from Floyd, they'll give you my home phone number. The price is not what it's in the catalog. We're going to correct the website. I suppose I can apologize, but it is what it is. Shipping, 2 weeks ago, I could ship one pigeon in a box for $10. I could want to ship a bird in a box right now. It's gone up to $30. So everything has gone crazy. You can blame it on anything you want, but prices have changed, and I've had to raise my price. If you have a question about my birds, you can certainly give us a call. What does that say?
And the phone number would be 724-359-5355. That's his home number.
That was Gina calling to remind us that we should give out a phone number. Oh,
Okay. Customers wanting to know about Gina.
Oh, okay. We explained this, a number of months ago. Gina is my daughter, worked for us for a good number of years. In fact, she might be watching the show. She was over at the house the other day. She just decided she wanted to go in a different direction in her life. You have to understand, she's a fairly young person, and when you have a business like ours, a family business, there's not a lot of room to move up. You are what you are. You have a here and a person here. Well, the person here might be with us for another 20 years. So the second place person's got to wait 20 years before they move up. So she is not necessarily looking for greener pastures, just to go in a different direction with more upward mobility.
More opportunity.
Thank you. So that answered that question. wanted to talk about, also, with this being breeding season, it's the season to vaccinate. Um, I was gonna vaccinate, why don't, no, we can't do it. I was gonna give you we have to plan for a way to high vaccinate. But when it comes to breeding season, it's a time, if you're already breeding, you can still do that. But if you haven't, it's a good time to take care of your pigeons and get them ready for breeding season, because it isn't a one-day thing or a week thing in order to get your birds in proper condition. So what should you do? Well, number one, there's a product called 3-in-1. People ask me why I'll recommend 3-in-1 rather than 4-in-1. I don't like to use antibiotics. You know, you've watched my show many times. I don't like to use antibiotics unless I have a reason to. So 3-in-1 contains no antibiotics. It's for,
Canker, coccidiosis, and worms.
man, you're getting almost as good as me. Yeah, the canker, coccidiosis, and worms. Technically, you can't call them a disease, not a bacterial infection or anything like that. They're what's called protozoa. Protozoa do not react to antibiotics. It's a waste of time to give them amoxicillin if you have worms or what doesn't treat canker. You need products that treat canker, coccidiosis, and worms before you breed. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, if you really want to do it, quote, right, your best bet would be to have an individual canker product, an individual coccidiosis product, and an individual worm product. Now, that's a little bit more expensive, and maybe you don't have the time to do it. But if I want to treat against something, I want to use a product. So I'm talking against myself, so to speak. But the best way is individually, in 3 individual products. But if you don't have the time, 3-in-1 is your best product. Want to take a question?
Yeah. This says, I need 3 proven breeding pair of
Vutos.
Vutos pigeons. How can I get them? I don't know.
Probably can't, to be perfectly honest with you, not that I haven't been in the past. I don't recognize the breed, so it tells me it's a rather rare breed in this country. But if you will send an email to Foy's asking that question, I will do some research. So email Foy's, and then they'll forward it to me. If you can send me a picture of the breed, that would be great. And if I can find a breed, include your phone number, I'll do some research and try to find them for you. Thank you. Thank you for your question.
I was going to say, because I didn't recognize it.
No, I don't either.
Okay, we have another question.
Would you raise that up a little bit? There you go.
Okay. Is it safe to give the parents the 4-in-1 medication if they have a new baby?
And what did I just talk about?
You don't like to give medication or antibiotics.
And what would you suggest instead?
3-in-1.
I'm glad. Yeah, we just talked about it. 4-in-1 has an antibacterial ingredient, an antibiotic in that's recommended for paratyphoid. So if you have to make a choice, I would strongly suggest that you use 3-in-1, canker, coccidiosis, and worms before using the 4-in-1. If you have a history of paratyphoid, then you may want to try the 4-in-1, but my preference would be certainly the 3-in-1. No antibiotics unless you actually need them and you've got sick pigeons.
I was just going to ask that. Because I have a lot of people ask me if will it harm the babies if you give them like an antibiotic. But if you have to, you kind of have to weigh your odds out. You know, either you lose a baby or you lose the breeding parent. So you kind of have to weigh your odds.
Breeding pair of young ones.
Yes.
It is just as she said, but if you want to make a decision, use the 3-in-1 and not the 4-in-1. And if all of your birds look perfectly healthy, no need for 4-in-1.
But wonder if my question was, wonder if the bird is sick and it has babies. and you have to give it an antibiotic or like, you know.
You answered the question.
Okay, oh, that's what.
Yeah, like she said, it's a balancing act. If you've got sick pigeons, treat them. Don't worry about the young birds in the nest. In most cases, they'll survive without any problem. We're kind of on the cautious side. But if you don't treat your adults, you won't have any more young ones. So that answers that particular situation. Now, we've talked about pre-breeding, so you're going to use the trail one or whatever you decide. Then you want to put something like oregano oregano in water, and you can mix it with vitamins. It's a good time, and when I say vitamins, people think if they put vitamins in their water once a week, they're doing good. They're doing nothing. It doesn't work that way. You have to give vitamins on a regular basis. It's a good idea to rotate. You can put vitamins in the water. You can put oregano in the water. You can put garlic in the water. There are a lot of different things, but you should have something in the water all the time. I haven't talked about this in a long time, but I would have the ingredients in the drinking water, vitamins, probiotics, and things like that on a regular basis. I did it 6 days a week. On the 7th day, what did God tell us? Rest on the 7th day? Well, I on the 7th day, I gave my birds clean water. So you can't do it a week before breeding season. Start now. Even if breeding season is 6 weeks from now, just as Jim was saying about the Orego-Stim, you give it, and you have to give it on a regular basis for it to be of any benefit at all. To use garlic in the water is great, but if you use it once a week, what have you done? You've done absolutely nothing. So you have to be consistent, and it's not a bad idea. If you're giving garlic one day, you can rotate and the next day give them something else. But the important thing is supplementation is very, very important. And we've come a long, long ways since all we did was put garlic water or some other natural substance in the water. What happened 40 years ago is completely different than what's happening now when you're talking about pigeons. When you talk about your pigeons, I know when I was a kid, I lived in Maine, and if I got a pigeon from Boston, Massachusetts, which was 80 miles away, all the rest of the kids that had pigeons would come over to my house to look at it because it was so rare. In today's world, I sell pigeons. I'm in Pennsylvania. I have an order to ship next Tuesday. It's going to California, and that you think nothing of it. Well, you have to realize that when you go from Pittsburgh to Los Angeles, the birds in Los Angeles are resistant to certain strains, but not all strains of diseases. My birds in Pittsburgh might be resistant to strains that the Los Angeles birds have never ever been exposed to. My healthy birds can make your healthy birds sick. Your healthy birds can make my healthy bird sick. I hope I haven't confused you on that. But one of the reasons you have to spend so much time trying to keep your birds healthy, because if you bring in strange pigeons, you're just asking for disease. The healthier or the stronger the immune system is, the better chances are that your bird's going to be able to fight off any particular disease that they might have.
Okay, and we have a question from Chris. Is it possible to get the PMV vaccine in a smaller amount than 100 dose bottles for smaller loft owners? You know what? Years ago we did.
No.
I thought
Years ago they only made one size, and it was 50.
50, yeah.
But they didn't sell a 10 burger. So the answer is no. If you're familiar, when you get this again, when you get your virus bottle, it's not much bigger than this. And the only size they made was 100, because if they made it in a 25 size or a 50 size, number one, it wouldn't be profitable enough for them. But here's maybe the solution, and a lot of people don't realize. Let's say, as you know, if your birds have never been vaccinated, they get 2 shots. So a 100-dose bottle is for 50 birds if they've never been vaccinated. But you can use what you want out of a bottle and then refrigerate it. But tell them how to do that.
It has a expiration date, so
But what if you wanted to use part of it? Oh, I'm just picking on you. Never ever stick a needle in a bottle that's been in a pigeon, number one. So if you're going to vaccinate, and an average syringe that we sell is 6 cc's. Right? Well, you fill up enough syringes, brand new syringes, needles in a bottle. You fill it up. Let's say it'll do 25 shots, and you want to do 100 birds. So you fill up 4 of them. Never stick a needle in a bottle that's been in the bird. So all 4 of these new syringes have been in the bottle, but they've never contaminated because they've never been in the bird. So
or you can put a needle in the top of that bottle, and then the needle that's on your syringe you put inside of that needle and draw from that.
yeah, the key is if it's been in a bird, doesn't
Yes.
go in the bottle.
But if you have the needle in the bottle, then that needle won't.
So let's say Chris has 25 birds, and he doesn't want to buy a 100-dose bottle. I understand that. But what he can do, vaccinate your birds, then if the bottle has never been stuck, a dirty needle's ever been in the bottle, put it in the refrigerator, keep it cold, and use it again. That's the only way.
And then we also, you do the buddy system, if you do have friends or somebody that, if you're in a club or something, and you want to split the bottle with somebody, you could, people that have small lofts,
Yep.
you could split with a friend.
Or the guy's got 25 birds, and he's got another friend with 25 or 30 birds. They can meet at one loft and do them all at the same time. I've done that. And we do have a on our site, if you want to go and see how to vaccinate, it is on our website also. We're running out of time. I am, with the Veronica's help, working on a new catalog. The new catalog will come out in 21. 22, yeah, next year. And if you have any suggestions or products that you'd like to see in our catalog, or maybe the improvements to the catalog, anything that you think might make the catalog better, we'd love to hear from you. It takes us about a year to work on, to create a new catalog, but we actually start the day after we have the first one printed. People start calling in. And we always put a few mistakes in the catalog, so that those people who like to find mistakes will contact us. But we certainly invite your suggestions. Once again, if you want to talk to me, my home phone number is 724-359-5355, and I'll give you Sherry's phone number also at home.
No.
What's your cell phone?
No.
How about send you in snail mail?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Well, just call me at Foy's.
All right. This is another cage cup. This is a little bit different.
The one that I told you with the wire.
Yeah.
This is the one I suggest a lot for the baskets.
Because number one, these bend over, and if your bird, you're taking your bird to a show, this holds a lot of water, and they can drink from it, or if you
feed.
Pardon?
Or feed.
Yeah, put feed or water right inside the show cage. Great unit number
3508.
You've got everything. Then we have, I didn't talk about this one. This,
You're slacking.
huh?
You're slacking.
Slacking. I'm a
Yeah.
slacker.
Why don't you?
You like that one? What's this for?
To hold up against the wire.
Oh, so this is once again a cage drinker, number 3476. It hooks onto your wire, and it has a little unit protruding. What that does is go into the wire underneath just to hold it in place. Great unit. I don't know how many ounces would it hold. Do you know? No, it doesn't say. But if I had to guess, that's an 8-ounce container, roughly. It's in the catalog, but it doesn't matter. You can see how big it is. Okay. And we also have, you mentioned we had this.
Yes, that was just like the other one. that
Mhm.
clips on. Only this is littler, smaller. And
Yeah,
it
if you
goes
have
the
two
same
birds in
way.
a cage,
Yeah,
it'll
it's the
hold
same
water.
way. You just put it in and twist it, and then you put it on top. We do sell a lot of these, by the way.
You know what? These are, a lot of people buy these are the cage people, with parakeets and canaries and things like that. They use these. And this is the last one I wanted to talk about. It's just a 458. It's a heavy duty drinker that a lot of people will use mostly for grit.
I was gonna say that would be good grit.
Yeah, it's good grit.
You didn't show that other one for grit too. Eat that one.
Well, you tell them about it.
This also we have. It's great for grit. Comes in 2 sizes. This is plastic, and we didn't have the other one. Huh?
No, we also
We also
ceramic.
have them in ceramic, and the ceramic ones also come in 2 sizes. This is the smaller one. This one's like 3 by something.
3 by 5, I think. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and the other one's a little bit bigger, and these are real nice. The ceramic ones, though, we sell out of. We can't keep them in stock. They're real nice. They're real heavy. This is the plastic one, but the ceramic ones, like I said, we cannot keep them in. They're just selling like crazy.
Before we sign off, mention that we have a gentleman, an Amish man, John, who makes wood products. He makes almost anything in wood that you see in our catalog. It's a good chance John made it. What I wanted to bring up is that it's a custom shop. He'll make nest fronts for us, maybe 100, 200 at a time. But anytime you have a special need, special size of a feeder or a basket or anything like that, if it's made out of wood, John can make it for you. So don't hesitate to contact us. You tell us what you want and the measurements of what you want, and John is able to make it. Have to allow 4 to 6 weeks to get it, but we do have a custom wood shop. We made it.
Yeah. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in with us. Again, please, if you have any questions, feel free to get on and ask us any kind of question you'd like.
And you can send us a question by email and we'll answer your question. You won't have to wait, but a lot of times I bring the questions to the show and pass it on to you. Hey, thanks an awful lot for watching.